Bueno, bienvenidos a una nueva conexión. Este es un nuevo episodio de nuestro podcast y será un episodio especial, ya que vamos a estar haciendo la entrevista en inglés. Usted va a poder ver la traducción a través de los captions y lo va a poder ver en español. Así que quédese con nosotros y vamos a conocer a la candidata a la Casa de Representantes por el Distrito 32 acá en el estado de Utah, cuál es su propuesta para la comunidad y la vamos a conocer un poco mejor como persona.
Bienvenidos a nuestro episodio de hoy. Esto es Conexión con Guillermo Rodríguez.
Today we have a special guest. We have a Sarah Dawn Montes. She is the candidate for the House of Representatives here in Utah for District 32.
Correct.
It's Salt Lake and Mill Creek. Mm-hmm. So thank you for being with us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be on here.
Of course. We would like to know, Sarah Dawn Montes, what is the roots and what is the beginnings?
Okay. So I was born in South Salt Lake, raised there. Actually, this is an interesting story. So when I was about 9, my parents went through a divorce, and because of finances, I went to live with my mom, but she was starting an assisted living center at the same time, taking care of seniors. So we went over there, and I grew up in a senior home, an assisted living center. So until I was 16 or 17, and then I moved back with my dad. So my dad was a mailman. My mom took care of seniors, and I went to Westminster College and had kids. I have an 11-year-old and an 8-year-old, and Joey. I'm married to Joey, and I went to school to be a math major, and I now am a math teacher for high school. I'm taking this time off so I can run for office because it's a lot of work.
I know.
So, yeah, I think that's a little bit about me.
Awesome. I know you are doing a lot of work for the community in different ways, as you already said. And I would like to ask, what made you run for, as candidate? I know you're pretty young and you are passionate to serve the community. What made you to do that?
Okay. I think I was taught to serve even in my youth, like with my mom taking care of seniors. There's always work to do. We're always wanting and having to help. So I think I was just raised like that, and being a teacher, still serving, helping kids understand math. I also ran the school science fair. It just took that upon myself, and I said, okay, this is important. I'm going to do this. Also, community garden. I ran the community garden at the high school. In the community, so for 3 years, every fall, I would raise money to go and buy jackets for kids that were in daycares that were having hard times. So I would go to all these different daycares and say, give me a list of kids that need a jacket, and we will get them one. So my friends and everybody in Facebook, we would chip in money and then go buy the jackets at Costco and give them out. So I don't know. I think it's just fun. It's fun to serve, and it's rewarding, and that's something that everybody is just, I think, instilled in them. Everybody wants to give back.
Awesome. I think that's inspiring for everybody, but special for youth people, that they can understand how important it is to help others, right? To serve another people, another person in needs.
I think that is the biggest contributor to having a healthy mental health. Like that is what we're supposed to do. And when you do that, you feel good. You don't need to go to
Therapists.
yes, yeah. It's just it's a natural remedy.
Exactly.
And you're not focused on yourself. You're not thinking like, I need this. I need. What do I need? You go help others, and you feel good.
Exactly. And this is everything about a purpose, right? When you find a purpose and you can think in another people to help, to serve another people, and this keep you mental health healthy, right?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Love that.
And I would like to ask if there's any story that you can identify in your life, and depending where was the place or what you were doing, maybe a story when you identified to be struggling so hard and you thought maybe you couldn't make it. You say, I don't know if I could make this, and how you could made it.
Yeah. Let's see. I would say, I don't know, this, like one of my hardest times was in college. It was, I was in school and raising kids at the same time. And so it was really hard to balance that, like studying or going to school and working a little bit and raising kids and then doing homework. So I always want to put the kids first, but sometimes like there's other things and I'm like, just give me some time and I need to do this. And so I think that was probably the hardest time of my life, is getting through school and raising kids.
Can I ask how old were you at that time?
So when I first started college, I was 18, but I dropped out and I didn't know if I wanted to finish college. And so then I decided, we had a family, and I went back to school when I was pregnant. And that was probably like when I was, 21 or 22, I guess.
Okay.
22. And then I went part-time. So it took me like, I don't know, like 8 years or something to get through college because I was going part-time.
Okay, and let me tell you why I always do this question, because I know it's a lot of people struggling with something, and could be a lot of youth people struggling with another kind of things, but when they can listen your story, they can realize they can do it.
Yeah.
They can make it, and they can, get it.
Yeah. So when I'm a little ashamed of how long it took me, but I think the key thing is to just do a little bit every day, whatever you can do every day. And if you do that, you will get there.
Little by little.
Yes. Yeah. And I did. So I'm very proud of that.
Awesome. So now I would like to ask you as candidate. I know you could find many issues in the community, but maybe we can talk 2 or 3 of them that you think is like priority, right? That what did you found in the community that needs to be improved?
Okay. So one is the sex trafficking, especially downtown and like in the Salt Lake area. Everybody knows that there's motels and escort companies and massage parlors where there's illegal activity going on, but we're not talking about it enough, and there's little regulation, and maybe like once a month we see in the news there was some kind of arrest or bust or something that happened. And it's like, oh, well, we already knew that, but who's doing something about
And that's one thing that I was about to ask about regulation. How are the regulations in Utah for that problem?
Okay, so first, I think the question we need to talk about if we want these massage parlors to have these services that they do, because some are good, but then some have those extra services, like in Vegas. Okay, so I don't think, I would want to stay away from that, but I don't know about everybody else. But if we decide to keep those, then that requires a sexually oriented business license. And with that license, the women have to apply or get approved every year, and they have to pass the
HSS and body tests.
Physical test.
A physical test, exactly.
And so that's once a year. But we know that they're doing that more now. So if we keep them, they need to get tested more. If we don't, we need to do something. We can't just sit there and be like, oh, nothing. So.
Exactly. And what do you think about the abuse, maybe the women abuse in your community?
Yeah.
Different kind of abuse, like physical, psychological, and different ways.
A lot of the women that are being trafficked are vulnerable. They've had things that happened in their life, and sometimes they don't even realize that they are being trafficked. Like they think they're helping somebody and that somebody is helping them, so they think of it more like a helpful.
They can say, it's okay.
Yeah.
We are helping each other.
Yeah, but it's damaging.
Exactly. That's really hard. That's really hard. And how do you think you can help the community with this if you can become this coming November in the House of Representatives?
Well, with the trafficking comes drugs. So it's like
a chain, right?
Yes. Trafficking, drugs, homeless. We need to get to the root. And that root is a lot of tragedies that have happened in trauma that has happened in the person's life. So if we could address their mental health, then we can, a lot of those issues will dissolve naturally.
Exactly. And now we can talk about mental health, right? This is another big issue here in Utah, right? What do you found in the community about mental health or substance abuse?
Well, with mental health, I'm a Christian. I was raised in the church. So I think a lot of people with mental health are hopeless. But God, He's there for you. He's always there through any problem, through everything. So as a Christian, I think mental health is having a relationship with God. I know not everybody does, but that's just how I feel.
Exactly. I think that's very important because this is one of the projects that we have this coming year as church, as Vida Real Church. We have a social project. It's like a foundation called Esperanza Latina, like Latino Hope, because we found depression, anxiety, and suicide thought that's a big issue here. A lot of people struggling with. But we found in our community, in our Hispanic community, is 200% more the probability of suicide. So that's why we want to help in this issue. And what we found in studying is like three roots about that. One, it has to be with your body, like your chemicals in your body, cortisol, stress, and these kind of things. Second, we have to, it's like emotional, the ones that you have for childhood or different kind of experience. But also, it has a third root that is spiritual. So, to improve this in our life, we have to find the root and know how to work, how to work on it. So I think this is very, very important too in our community. And then I would like to ask about education and parent rights. I know you say you're raised as Christian, you are Christian, I'm a pastor. So we are seeing more in the last years how the education system is getting involved with different kind of things about how they are teaching our child about sexual things, or how the rights of the parents is not being respected.
Yeah.
So what did you find about that?
So with the education, so did you know that there are 40 million Christians that don't vote
Really?
in the United States? Yeah.
40 millions?
Yes, 40 million. And so we are electing these people and letting these people run everything, our education system. Even though that we may not agree with it, a lot of us are just kind of, I think, maybe praying and saying God will take care of it. But it's our duty.
We have to take action too.
Yes. Okay, there's a parable in, it's Luke 10, and it's the parable of a good Samaritan. And Jesus is talking about this story where someone was robbed and he was beaten up. And there's like a few people passing, just people walking and looking and saying, oh, well, somebody's closer, they'll take care of it. And later in the story it says the good Samaritan is the one that ran over to the person and helped how he could. So it's our responsibility to not just look at these things happening.
Or just pray for them.
Yeah, prayer is always good. We always need to pray, but we need to take action, because even when you don't vote, you're taking action. You're contributing to the vote by letting a certain side win. So even though you're not voting, that's an action.
Exactly. And it has results too, negative, but it has also result for that. Exactly. And I think the last question that I would like to ask about parental rights. What did you found here in Utah? I'm asking this because I moved here from Massachusetts, from Boston, and that's a liberal liberal state,
Yeah.
right? But Utah, when I got here, I was impressed because it's is different. It's not liberal. Utah is not liberal,
Yeah.
but it's getting different things. It's getting involved different things. But what do you found about parental rights?
So yeah, I think the political climate, it's kind of changing here. Like you see these articles and saying Utah might turn blue, or more people coming into the state and bringing their ideologies from like California.
California is too close.
So in Salt Lake, I think it is pretty blue, like where I'm at, and a conservative hasn't had that seat that I'm running for in more than 20 years. But when you come out here, it's a little bit better. And like the districts, each district is so different that some are conservative, and those local politics run like what you see on a daily basis. So yeah, there's a lot of power in like the municipalities. For parental rights, like in my district and more in the city, Salt Lake, for example, the incumbent that I'm running against, she proposed that for children, that if a child wants to transition from like a boy to girl, if a child wants to transition, the school doesn't need to tell the parents, and they can change the gender. To me, that's taking the power away from the parent.
Yeah.
But if you look over here in like the rest of Utah, they're not going for it. But it's like a disease, like it will spread. Exactly. So we need people to say like, no, don't, like that's not okay.
And that's tough because we fought with that in Boston as church. And we worked together with the Massachusetts Family Institute because of that. And I think this doesn't make sense because sometimes when a child, when a boy or girl, they have like a headache and they need a pill, like ibuprofen or a pill, a painkiller, they have to call the parent sometimes and say, oh, do you agree that we can give a painkiller to your child?
Yeah.
But for something that important, as you already said, to transition a gender, they don't have to let know the parents or, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, where are the parental rights for that? Another thing that the incumbent...
That's a violation of the rights of the parents.
Right? Yes, yeah. So another thing that she wants is for like the surgeries, she's okay, or puberty blockers, she's okay with giving children puberty blockers, like in prescribed by a doctor, like testosterone or estrogen. So she's okay with a child making that decision and taking those. But what happens after, when they're adults?
No.
And even for like to get a tattoo or to drink or do any adult stuff, you have to be a certain age. So why would we let kids make that decision?
Exactly. I don't know if this happens here in Utah too, but in Boston, we were fighting for like the abortion thing because it was the same way. Is a little girl was pregnant and they go to the school and say, I'm pregnant, I need to abort. And they say, okay, let's go. And your parents don't need to know. I think that's not right. I don't know if it's the case here in Utah still, but
yeah, no, that's not here in Utah, not yet.
Not yet.
But there is a lot more people being okay with abortion, even Christians. There's even Christians that are okay with abortion. In Jeremiah 1, 4-5, verse 4-5, Jeremiah is talking about that, or the Word of God says that God knows you before you are even born, and He knows you in the womb, and He has a plan for you. So I think that I don't know. I don't know why Christians are choosing to support a candidate that is for abortion. there's some kind of like there. Maybe we could do better at getting the message out. I don't know.
Yeah, that's really hard and doesn't make sense. But we have to, let the people know.
Yeah, because Utah is a Christian state.
Exactly. It's conservative,
yes.
right? It's very, very conservative. And that's why when you say not yet, I say, yeah, not yet. Yeah. Because this is, coming everywhere.
Mm-hmm. So one thing in my church, I feel like we as a people look at the New Testament more sometimes than the Old Testament.
And the Old Testament.
Yeah.
And just getting some things of the new one.
Saved by God's grace, or like His mercy will save you.
Exactly.
But we're not focused on those commandments.
The commandments.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's very, very important. So the times runs.
Okay.
And thank you for being with us, and thank you for this conversation. Really interesting and important topics that we talk about, and we hope that you can be helped by God to, for this coming November, and we will be praying for you.
Thank you. That is so special.
And also supporting these kind of principles and values and rights that we have to keep it here in Utah. There's something that would you like to say the last words to the people who's listen us or watching us today?
So I would just advise everybody to be involved politically. I know it's not fun and it's hard. There's a lot going on, a lot of tension, but to just get out and vote, because those are the people that are like running how our daily lives are. And yeah, just can continue to help. I think you guys have a great pastor that encourages that. So it's great.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. And I hope the next time we can do another podcast.
Yes,
and we can share something new with the audience.
Yes, that would be great. I'd love to help in your church any way that I can. So.
Thank you so much. Yeah, as we were talking, out of the cameras, we have many projects and we need a lot of help too. Mm-hmm. So we would like to work together for the community.
Yeah, let's do it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Gracias a todas las personas que se quedaron con nosotros hasta este momento, a quienes hayan disfrutado esta entrevista, nuestro episodio de hoy. Y bueno, sé que quizás fue un poquito difícil en cuestión de idioma ir leyendo, ¿verdad?, la transcripción, pero realmente sé que ha valido la pena. Gracias por su tiempo. Le invitamos a compartir este podcast con alguien más y a no perderse cada jueves a las 8 de la noche su podcast Conexión con Guillermo Rodríguez. Hasta la próxima.